I didn't know that I seen so much at a young age. 'Cause I thought it was normal.
Yeah.
Like I thought every kid, dealt with and seen stuff that I seen at that age. And then once the older homies start recognizing, oh, he's going out here doing this, he's going out there doing that. What y'all doing? And they just standing around looking. They not going.
So in some sense, you become kind of like the big homie for the little homies.
And now I'm around guys that been doing, years, and some of them has heard of me from when I was out there in the streets. So now that even boosted my ego even more. Like dudes done heard of me. I don't even know this older guy, but he know me.
You went in at 16 years old.
Yeah.
And you were in there for how long?
27 years.
Yo, welcome back to Reentry Network Podcast. It's your boy Yaquian.
It's your boy T.
We got another special one today, man. I want to give a really warm welcome to our boy Lawrence out here, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time, man.
Appreciate it for y'all
Friday,
having me.
shit to do probably,
I got this to do right here, man.
There you go.
Priorities.
Hey, during the pre-screening, and shout out to Kai, our producer, for making that happen. There's a lot of great stories that come from your story and everything. But the thing that really touched me the most too is the idea that you went in at 16 years old.
Yeah.
And you were in there for how long?
27 years.
27 years.
Freshly home like about close to 9 months ago.
Isn't that nuts, bro?
So fresh, man. Fresh.
Fresh
Yeah.
as fuck.
It seems like I've been out here for longer than that.
Really?
Probably all the things that I'm taking on right now. We have an idea of what we want to do once we, get out of here. And then when we out here, we got to put it together. And not only that, but having a great circle of friends that's out here, that's been out here for a few years, and they living good. So like I gotta catch up. But no, I gotta pace myself.
Yeah.
But it's just the idea of where I want to go to, and knowing that it's gonna get there, it's just gonna be a little patient, take a little time. But sometimes it's like let's get it right now. Like the old thoughts of having that fast money. Let's go hit this lick real quick so we can get rich instead of getting it the legal way. It's a process to all this stuff. So I'm going through the process right now, man, and dealing with that. Let's get it right now.
That's good though, man. You touched on something important. You caught the concept of good things take a little longer. It's gonna take a little longer, right?
Yeah, for sure they are.
Do you feel like you get we'll definitely start with your upbringing and everything. We want to see like what causes a youth to even get to a point to catch a sentence like that. But do you feel discouraged sometimes as far as the time that it takes to get some of these things that we imagine in a jail cell, and you realize you want to go to Hawaii, you want to go to college, you want to do X, Y, and Z, but once you translate it into the real world, it takes a lot longer than the way we thought about it. Does that discourage you or no?
No, it doesn't really.
There we go.
Because I know that, hard work pays off.
Yep.
So it was hard work that I did in there to get out here. Now that I'm out here, there's so much out here for us, and it's gonna take time to get there. But I'm willing to. I'm patient enough to get it.
27, man. You had a lot of time to.
Yeah.
Like shit. Now looking back now.
I know, right? That's more pressure for me now, man.
But I guess let's start from the beginning. Shoot, you're Compton, right? You're a Compton kid, right? You grew up in Compton.
Yeah, grew up in Compton. Moved to South Central LA when I was like about 9 years old. I didn't know that I seen so much at a young age. 'Cause I thought it was normal.
Yeah.
Like I thought every kid, dealt with and seen stuff that I seen at that age. But as you grow up and you understand the world, you know that it wasn't a normal lifestyle that I was living at that young age. So many people that was at that age as well, but they came out and they businessmen now. They own companies. So it's like, what path did they take that I didn't take? Well, we grew up on the same street. It came to the decision and choices that I made, and wanted to be part of a group. And essentially it was the wrong group that I chose to be a part of. It took years to learn that, but I understand it now, and doing mentoring and stuff like that. This is what I used to tell them.
Does groups you talk about? Obviously, we're talking about gangs and stuff.
For
like
sure,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Gang members. I had family members, Crips and stuff like that. So this is what I knew.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that these things was instilled at me in a young age, to where I grew up. I figured like this is what life is right here.
This is normal.
Exactly. It was normal, and it was right. But like, once again, like every kid that grew up like me don't turn out to be like me. You know, so I had to make a decision. I had to understand, like, well, what was it that changed? It was what we wanted. Like, I wanted to be like. I love when my cousin's friends came over and called me my nickname, and gave me dap and put me in a car with them. SS's and 5.0s and stuff like that. Going to their hood park and stuff like that, and seeing a bunch of dudes and ladies, and I'm getting attention. Like, who doesn't like that?
It sounds like a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure it was. For sure it was. And I felt, man, I felt liked. I felt appreciated. And what kid don't want to feel appreciated and liked, that attention that they got. And I took it and ran with it.
But little do you know, like, what comes from all that. It's like, it's the behind the scenes, the reality of, like, the repercussions that come from shit like that as well, right? Participating in all that.
Yeah. And at that time, I didn't see the repercussions behind it. All I seen was what was happening. And the attention that was being brought to me, or whatever, my older cousins and stuff like that. And it's something that I like, man. Like it's like you get adrenaline from it. Popularity. Nowadays you got the people that's popular on IG and stuff like that. So they doing what these popular kids do to get popular. They want the likes.
Crazy. You seen that with adults now in social media. They want the likes, they want the popularity, and they're going to the extremes to get that stuff.
Yeah.
So I can imagine back in your day, no cell phones, no nothing. You had to be out there. You had to be physical. You got to be different environment, man.
And you had to, and even as a kid, with who we ran with, our little kids in the neighborhood, we knew that violence was the key. I thought violence was the key to be liked, right? So if somebody beat somebody up, now they looked at as, okay, he cool. I ain't gonna mess with him. I thought fear was popularity. And actually it wasn't. And that's the same mentality that I took when I went into prison, and we seen it. Oh, he's the hardest guy in the yard right there. Don't fuck with him. So and then you learn how to get that. From maybe getting off first or something like that, not backing down from nothing. Like, that's something that we learned as a young kid. Something that my family instilled in me. Don't be no punk.
You know what's nuts? I'm thinking, like, I want to ask you about, like, your upbringing as far as, like, even high school and stuff, but it's crazy to say you didn't even get that chance to kind of even experience high school to a fullest potential, because it was 16 that you went in. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I experienced it a little bit, playing ball and stuff like that, football. That was my thing, sports.
No way.
And yeah, I jeopardized that extremely. I did. Like, I was pretty good, man, for having people look at me and stuff like that. But I was doing that and gangbanging at the same time, and I couldn't mix.
Yeah.
It's crazy because
I'm thinking, was moms and pops in the scene at this point?
Moms was for sure. Like, she was 10 toes down. Pops wasn't there. Haven't seen him since I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
Drugs and stuff like that. He was out of state, but moms was there for sure, doing the best job, and I didn't recognize it at the time. Like, I was think that I needed something to where it wasn't being provided in the house, but she was doing everything. She was full-time job working, food on our backs, clothes and stuff like that, kept a house over our head. I didn't want for nothing. I thought I was lacking love, which I didn't. That's what it was. Yeah. But once again, that popularity is something that we strive for, that we got outside the home, that I thought I was missing, and it wasn't.
Crazy to have that realization,
right?
That you just, like, after all those years later, now you realize, God damn, if I could have filled that hole with something else, it could have worked out a little different,
Yeah, it could have. I was a teenager, so I was, going through what I was going through. And, I felt as if I needed it out there on the streets. So once again, I did any and everything, man, to, make the guys around me feel as if, they needed me.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you said you had family that was involved, but did you have, like, siblings too?
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't have no siblings that was involved, but like I said, I have a sister. I have a couple sisters. She stayed in the household with me, and she turned out to be great right now.
Yeah.
When I got out, awesome. Got out, best support network I can ask for, man. You
Shout
know,
out to sis, man,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
real.
Yeah,
And I
most
love the
definitely.
way that what you even said before was like, you realize that there's people that you grew up with in the same environment that went a different route. You know, so it's you're not always case closed. He's gonna go this route.
Yeah.
There was always something. It's just that we didn't have that outlook. You didn't have that the way to see outside that box at that time.
I think what it was I wasn't strong enough to make that decision what I wanted for myself. You know, we could look at, kids that don't want to come to the park. Oh, you scary. No,
Yeah.
actually, they were stronger than me. They were smarter than me. I didn't know that till years later, because actually they chose what they wanted for themselves instead of just following the get along gang. That's something I did, But yet and still, I thought I was the strong one. You know.
That's crazy to put it that way too. That's nuts.
Yeah, I get you because it was probably you can put yourself in the next man's shoes like that, where it's like, nah, I'm not showing up. I'm cool. I'm gonna do my own thing. It's probably a lot harder for them socially, because like you said, then you get outcasted.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, homeboy ain't with the shits. He ain't showing up. Whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, it took a lot more probably on his character to say, you know what, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Exactly. And just think about how much strength that took.
Yeah.
A lot.
Like that
Especially
took a
as a
lot.
youth.
Yeah, exactly. Dealing with popularity, like if we dealing with popularity from the gang members to those in society, just let's do the numbers. Like I said, about 100,000 people that's incarcerated compared to about 25 million people in California.
California.
Crazy.
That's some crazy numbers right there,
Yeah.
man.
We're small. The margin is small that goes through the lifestyle.
Exactly.
There's a lot more to the world, is what you realize when you
No.
put it in that way.
It is, but if we don't journey outside these 10-block radius, might be our neighborhood, we'll never know that.
Yeah, we were touching on that before we started. Lawrence asked me, kind of what got me into this. It was a realization that because I was working with young adults when I first started here. It's the idea that these kids they've never left their zip codes. They've never been, like you said, 10 blocks out of where they've been from or where they grow up. Like shit like that made me realize, and you even said it too, like you didn't know how much your mom was doing, and I didn't know how blessed I was because I have my own room. I got my bed, I have my roof, I have food, and I have clothes on my back. That is the craziest blessing anybody could have.
Yeah.
And that idea of what you just said too is like there's people who don't leave. And people don't understand that. That's why hopefully people who are listening is like those that have never been exposed to this kind of stuff. They listen and understand like shit. I see why maybe they may have made those mistakes because they didn't know there was another world that they could be a part of. They didn't know there was other opportunities. Yeah. And then even more, they didn't know how to be stronger and say no to some stuff too.
Yeah.
And I respect that, man. And that's why I respect anybody coming out of being former incarcerated because shit, to come back out, and you said it too, you could easily go make that quick money, but to come back out and realize like, yo, I got to put time and effort into this shit, I applaud you because I know damn well not anybody else in this world could do it that easy. There are people that will fail, and you're doing it. Everybody in this room's doing it, and I respect that for sure.
Or we, hit that lottery, man, that we own.
There you go.
Yeah.
Still buying scratchers, though. Everybody's still buying scratchers. We're trying to hit that lotto.
Yeah.
Hey, but now with that being said, though, what kind of experiences did you have at least at a young age before we get into kind of what got you incarcerated?
Yeah.
Where you think back now and you're like, damn, like I should have been scared doing that. Like I should have been full of fear doing some shit like that, but I had no fear at that point.
But yeah, let's jump into some like your youth and what led you to 16 catch a case like that. You moved from where was it that you moved from?
On Compton.
So from Compton to South Central, environment wasn't too different. What were some of the activities that would you say that just started kind of escalating it, and you kind of either maybe not knew, but that started heading you in that direction where you're like, okay, this is gonna crash. I'm gonna crash. This
was something that, like I said, I grew up in a household, with Crips and stuff like that. My neighborhood was Crips. I moved to a neighborhood that was Crips, so it's like I fit right in.
Was that the same hood that your peoples were from already too?
Yeah.
So you were already kind of plugged in, or they already
Yeah.
knew that your nephew, your son,
Yeah,
your
and
little
these was
homie
these.
coming around.
Yeah, and these was people that was reputable from their neighborhood. So with me being with them, I felt secure. And moving to the neighborhood that I was from in South Central LA, I think it started like in a park. Like it was a park maybe like 3 blocks from my house. So you go up there, you meet the neighborhood kids and stuff like that. And of course, you're the new kid on the block, so they might want to test you. So one thing that I did learn was, if I felt my heart beating kind of fast and I felt something's going to happen, I would get off first, right? Now that came from getting beat up as a kid, as a young kid. And once I learned that and I started winning fights, it's like, okay, this is it right here. All I got to do is get off. Whenever I feel something like this, I just got to get off first. And was likely I'm going to win. And so once that started happening, now, kids would come, oh, what's up, Lawrence? What's up this, what's up that? You know what I'm saying? So once again, the popularity is back cracking, man. And so it just, we do things what we do in the neighborhood. We see the gang members at the park. They recognize what's going on. Whether one of the kids, cousins or brothers was from the neighborhood. So now we kicking it with them. And they know us. So it's like we're growing up. This is what we're growing up to be. And since I'm familiar with gang members, like it was natural, it was normal. I do what I do now, to gain their approval as well, And now they start, kicking it with me, So
come through, come hang out.
Exactly. What you doing? Come get in the car. Let's go to the store, stuff like that. So, and that was, I think, that was one of the things. Like if you get in the car with one of the older homies, it's like, okay, I done read. Yeah. Exactly. So that started happening, and now, when guys maybe come through shooting and stuff like that, it's like, what we doing? Like we know what to do. Like retaliation was a big thing, and something that I learned as a youth, as a little kid. Like I didn't get punished for my retaliation that I did. Something that stands out for me one day is, playing football as a youth at Avalon Park. One of the guys on the other team, they ended up pushing my teammate down. He ended up crying. Mm-hmm. And so after the game was over, we shaking hands, and I just socked him in the face. And so the parents broke it up, and my mom asked me, why did I do that? I said, because he pushed my teammate down and he started crying, and I didn't get no whooping for it. So it's like she approved what I did.
Kind of validated a little bit.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. It was validated, and I said, okay, I could do this more often, And sometimes I would lie, oh, they hit me first, and I didn't get in trouble for it. Yeah. So now I know how to maneuver. And once I was in the gang life, like retaliation, what? Okay, we going right back. I'm not gonna get in trouble for this. They harmed one of mine, so I'm gonna harm what it is, And retaliation, it was pretty big, man. It's pretty huge on my part as well. 'Cause I couldn't wait for something like that to happen. Because now I'm gonna make a even bigger name for myself. And then once the older homies start recognizing, oh, he's going out here doing this, he's going out there doing that. What y'all doing? And they just standing around looking. They not going.
So in some sense, you become kind of like the big homie for the little homies.
Exactly.
You're the one. You're the one that's
exactly
on for the section.
But I didn't know that in everything. Like I had to one up it. I just can't have a fight, win this fight, and that's it. Like no, it's a continuous thing. You got to keep going, and not at the same time, like you losing yourself, like you losing your humanity. You don't care for life. You don't give a fuck. This is what it is. You're not knowing that, these people got family just like you do. Well, they hurt one of mine, so I'm gonna hurt one of theirs. But is that really the cycle of how it's supposed to go, though? Mm-hmm. So it was.
Did you have these thoughts already at that age, or
nah, hell, right? I had to learn this stuff, man. Yeah. Like, I had to learn this stuff. Going through, trials and tribulations on myself, and once I start figuring out, like, who am I? Like, I was part of a group that, had a specific identity, but in that group, I was only identified maybe as one or two things. But was that truly who I am? Like, it doesn't add up to who you are as a person,
That you took on the group identity as opposed to your individual identity.
Exactly. And something that I did learn early on is that everybody's not going to go out and do what you do. Like, they all had their own thing. You got some homies that just sell dope, some homies that just kick it, some homies that just show up doing functions and stuff like that. But when it's time to, go put in the work. Where are you at? It's only a handful of people that are putting work, and all gang members ain't murderers. You know, that's the crazy thing. I thought that every person that was a gang member supposed to go out and commit these murders, but that's not true. You know.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the view on everybody, especially the public. Like, oh, that's a gang member. Oh, he kills.
Yeah.
That's the view that everybody has.
Even in that world, it's like I mean, everyone has their lane, and you find that lane. It's for the wrong things, but you find your lane, living that lifestyle growing up. So about 15, 16 years old, you were already seasoned. You were weathered. You already kind of been through some shit, right? For the most part. What would lead a 16-year-old to catch that type of sentence?
Man, going out carjacking. You know, at this time, you know, a lot of things was going on as far as with carjacking, and I like, man, I need to get me a Lexus.
What year was this?
This was 96.
Okay, 96. Lexus was hot. Acuras, okay.
Most definitely, yeah. So I'm like, man, I need to go get me a Lexus. And that happened to the murder. You know, seen a guy coming out and, you know, went to you know, get him for his Lexus, and you know, a struggle was put up. And I told myself if he reached for the gun again, I'm gonna shoot him. You know, and I did. Right? Thinking that, you know, I'm the one that had the gun, so you should listen to me. You know,
16 years old. Yeah.
16 years old, thinking that, you know, I ruled the world. I didn't notice all these lives that I would damage. You know, these 27 years later, like they was left without a father, a friend, a business partner. You know, and essentially, I mean, I could talk about my family as well, but it's more about them. You know, these lives I destroyed. I don't even know the extent of the lives that I destroyed by committing this senseless murder. You know, I don't think I would ever know. So I always keep that in the forefront of things that I do now. And when I talk to guys as far as the youth and stuff like that, I let them know my story. But I don't even let them know my story. I let them know, you know, the tragedy and the hurt that I caused behind it. You know, I think that's the main thing right there.
100%. The self-reflection that you have right now, just even you saying that is like, you know, you are guilty of something. You did do something, but now you're putting yourself, probably seeing like you never would have seen before, is putting yourself in someone else's shoes for it. And at that age, again, we can go through the science behind it. Myelination process isn't over till the age of 25. So your brain isn't developed till, you know, all that stuff is real, you know, and it's more real when you're living it and you're going through it at 16 years old. I tell people, shit, you were jumping off cliffs without a second thought. At 40, you think I hate going on a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? So
flipping off roofs when I was like 7, 8 years old, man.
Would you do, you know, and now you're like, that's crazy. Why would I ever do that?
No, I've been out skydiving. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Most definitely I've been like I was waiting for me to feel some type of fear, or my heart started beating like it never happened. We went out for one of my boys for his birthday. You know, he works for Healing Dialogue. So he sent the group text out to about 5 or 6 of us, like, I'm going skydiving. I said, let's go. It just new experiences, you know? Like, I'm not going to place myself just in a specific setting. Like, I'm out here, I'm going to explore.
Yeah.
Because the more I explore, the more I know who I am. You know, one of the things I want to do is go live in another country for maybe about 2 or 3 years, just to experience their culture. You know, just so I could be a better person. Because we don't know how much good we have it over here in the United States until we go somewhere else and maybe see how they live and stuff like that.
True.
Like, once that's something I understood when I was in there. Like, once I took myself out of this gang culture and started mingling with guys in the yard that I never talked to before, started doing groups and stuff like that, it brought on new thought patterns. Like, I would have never had them new thought patterns before unless I didn't experience these new things. And then start finding out what you really probably want for your life. You talk to these guys, well, how did you do this? Or I did this, do this, but this is what's going to happen. Like, a lot of time people might say, oh, yeah, I did this, I did that, but they don't tell you their experiences behind it, the emotions that they went through, the struggles that they went through. You know, I want to tell the people everything just so they know that this shit ain't easy, man.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is not easy. I mean, but if you want it, you're going to do anything and everything to get it. Like, one of the things I love was one of the sayings of AVP is we suffer for what's important. You know, so whatever emotional struggles we go through, if it's important for us, we're gonna go through it. You know, and so that always reminds me, like, if you really want it, man, go get it. And a lot of times, you know, people quit. They like, man, I ain't doing that no more. Well, you really didn't want it in the first place. You know.
Great point, man.
So true.
Because you gotta want it. It has to come from within. That's something that we preach here too all the time. We're like, hey, you can't just say it. You know, you got to have actions behind it and start carrying out those things, speak it into existence. You know, saying it at this point in life after having struggled, we're playing catch up. You know, so we ain't got enough time to sit there and play with it. You just got to do it. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So man, I'm trying to wrap my head around 16-year-old catches straight carjacking. That was on the thing /
Well, I had carjacking, I had murder, I had some robberies, you know.
And this is in the 90s. This is right after 1994, which was 3 strikes. This is right after the whole drama with the Clinton era and the tough on crime laws and people getting really struck out for stealing pantyhose out of damn wherever, Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
What happens to a 16-year-old at that point? Was there still YA? Was there still the compound, juvenile hall? What happens? And then what was your family thinking? Lawrence is gone. We just got a call. He may not be getting out.
So initially when I got locked up for carjacking. A week later, so when I'm in here, I'm thinking, well, I ain't tripping. I get out soon because one of the homies he had ended up getting locked up for carjacking. Well, for carjacking, he got out like 2 weeks later. So I'm thinking, okay, this is just another notch on my belt, me getting incarcerated now, right? But no, that didn't happen. A week after I was incarcerated, they brought up the murder I committed, you know? And
was this because maybe the person passed or?
Well, the person passed that day when I committed the murder. But so I get locked up for one crime and they brought up another one. So the car that we had used, still had like IDs and stuff in there, not knowing that it was they fingerprinted the car and my fingerprints popped up because they were in the car. And so they brought up the murder on me. And so now I'm in there not only fighting a carjack, but a murder and some robberies and stuff like that. So I don't know how soon it is that I told my family about it. I can't remember. I'm just thinking about that right now. But they knew and they was asking me, did I did it? And I told them, no, I didn't do it. You know, I lied. Just like, you know, when you're in trouble, no, I didn't do it.
Defense mechanism.
Yeah, because you know if you say you did it, you're going to get ass whooping, right? And so when that happened, it's crazy. One of the guys that was there when I went to court that morning, he asked me, I said, man, I ain't got a court till next week. He said, man, I hope they don't bring up another charge. So he done been through it before because he was heading back to camp.
Another youngster already had experience.
Yeah, so exactly. So he already knew what was going on. And it was my first time ever being locked up in my life. I didn't got into trouble before, probation, went down to the station, stuff like that, but never in halls. Yeah. And so, let's see what happened next in the hall. So in there fighting that, they brought up the murder. They said they wanted to they tried to give me the death penalty, but I was too young. I was 16. So what they could do was life without.
But these were the conversations they were having with you that they were telling you.
Through the attorney, yeah.
What were you thinking when they were telling you that?
I'm just taking it all in. Like I don't think I had any emotions at that moment. You know, I'm just taking it all in and thinking like, damn, a murder. Okay, well, you know, it is what it is, you know.
I don't even think you know what that means at that
I know
time,
I didn't. Not at all. I had no idea what that meant until years later. You know. And I was just experiencing the experience of being in the halls, then going to prison. Then I found out they wanted to charge me as an adult. And they was trying to give me like 25 to life. So, and they had one of the guys that used to come, a guy named Boxer. And I was asking him like, man, you think I get out if they give me 25 to life? He's like, yeah, man, you get out. Yeah, you get out. And so I'm like, okay, fuck it. If they give me 25 to life, as long as I be able to get out, I get out. But then they hit me with the life without, and life without plus 28 years and like 8 months. And I took that like as a badge of honor, right?
So did you ever go back and forth with like your PD or anything like that and tell them, hey, give me a deal or?
Well, they wanted like a 25 to life deal when it came to me telling who was with me. So that was out. Like it wasn't.
So they basically told you, if you tell us who was with you, we'll
Yeah.
give you 25 to
20
life.
exactly.
Thinking you didn't know better, like that was a deal, like you were gonna
Yeah.
sign for life anyways.
But some people take that deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people take that deal, because like, man, all right, well, let me go ahead and sign. But no, it could have been, man, if you get out, you can get out tomorrow, man. Tell me who. No, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that wasn't gonna happen. Like that wasn't even on the radar. So yeah, I get to life without plus 28 years, and I thought I was the man, cause didn't nobody in my circle had that much time ever. Even older
Did
homies.
you go to trial though? Is that
Yeah,
how you got that
yeah,
time?
yeah. I went to trial. They gave me trial was probably about 3 days.
3 days on
About
on
3
a case
days.
like that, huh?
Yeah, it was the case was it was out there in the media. It was out there in the media, real tough. The family came from an influential family. And I think we called maybe about one witness, I think, on our end. And that's crazy. I was still in the courtroom thinking like, I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat this.
Yeah.
And when they said no life without, you're a menace to society. You was like a little Boy Scout. You sneak up in these people on the parking lot. You look so young, innocent. They didn't think that you was gonna pull a gun at them. And if you try to, or no, if they tried to, what do you say? If they tried to basically not give up their stuff, I'd kill them. And that's exactly who I was. Like I was that monster that would sneak up on you, man. And if you move, I would shoot you. I was the one with the gun, so I was the one in charge, right? So how dare you not listen to me? Like this is the mentality I had at 15, 16 years old. And yeah, it is. But just think about having that mentality at that age, and then coming into prison at 18, and now I got to prove myself even more. Like I did the murder, I did these crimes, but that don't matter now. I'm in a totally different environment, and now I'm around guys that been doing, years, and some of them has heard of me from when I was out there in the streets. So now that even boosted my ego even more. Like dudes done heard me. I don't even know this older guy, but he know me. Can you imagine how that felt to an 18-year-old kid that's fresh in prison? After trying to get validation from, his 7, 8, 9, and then the teenage years. And I'm still a teenager at 18 years. Like I was 3 months shy of just being 18. Crazy.
Before you got caught the chain to prison.
Yeah, I got my sentence life without when I was 17 years old.
That was after fighting it for a year and some change.
Yeah.
Then they sentence you, and then you're about 17 and some change. So the whole time you're waiting there with other youngsters waiting to go to prison, and also did they have those type of sentences you did?
Nah, I was the only one.
The only one, huh?
I was the
Just
only
with
one.
a bunch of adults, just and there.
At that time I was in the juvenile module I was in juvenile module when I called my time. So I did some time in juvenile hall, fighting in there, ended up getting kicked out of juvenile hall and then sent me to the juvenile module in the county jail. That was a new experience. And so I went in there with a total different attitude, like, okay, I gotta prove myself. First enemy I see that's in there, we gonna have to get down. And I did have an enemy in there. And so the next morning we end up, getting down, end up winning. So now that sets a precedence as well. Like this guy can fight right here, And so I was in there for maybe probably about 6 months, 8 months, something like that. And I ended up getting my time in there. And then when I turned 18, they kicked me out from the juvenile module to the main line. So now I'm fresh
in the
county jail. So I'm fresh 18. I think I went down to 4,800. There was like 3 striking lifer dorms right there. I don't know what it is right now. And at the time, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to leave and go to prison. you know, and I didn't know what that experience was gonna feel like, but I know that I'm heading to prison, so now it's gonna be a total different environment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to prove myself all over again.
Yeah.
I was down for whatever. The homie gave me a knife, said go stab him. I would have go stabbed him, you know, thinking that, you know, this is what we do in here. Because we hear about the stories when we out there. You know, we hear about the stories.
Yeah.
And so that was a total different environment, man. I'm dealing with grown ass men now. But I'm thinking that with the heart that I had, like, it didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter, man.
That young and that strong.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what? My philosophy on that, I always tell people, I think if they would give us a chance to go to the army, you would have been a great fucking general or something.
Most
You know what I mean?
definitely,
You
most
would have led your
definitely.
troops.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that character, that strong character. And when we get our little youngsters that do, and we see it in them, where you're like,
Yeah.
man, my boy, this dude's gonna be a problem. Let's put him in the military. That's my thing. It could be anything though, but we have to learn how to channel that energy and that sternness, that stuff that you're giving off to something positive.
Most definitely. And my mom's tried to do that, and that was through sports. That was through sports. Like I basketball, baseball, football, you know, I played all of it.
Like get it off over there, huh?
Yeah,
Get the sport,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. And but that that gang lifestyle, man, it captures something.
Yeah.
You know, from a youth to the teenage years, being around it so much, it just this is what I want to do right here. And not knowing that the only two things in the gang is in prison or dead. That's the extent of it right there.
And how many times do you hear youngsters saying like, "I done heard that already"? But how can we emphasize to them that as much as you heard it and as cliche as it may sound and corny
Yeah.
or whatever, that's what they're gonna tell you. Be like, but you don't understand. That is the reality. I'm telling you. I'm
Yeah.
living proof. You're living proof of it.
Most definitely. I don't think we allow them to think about their future. And we ask them, man, what is it something that you want to do? You know, for sure, it's not, I'm gonna be a toughest gang member and then end up getting killed. Like you ain't gonna never hear them say nothing like that.
That's true.
You know, so when we have these different conversations with them, we start giving them different thoughts and different ideas that allow them to grow into it. You know, so they may not. It's not gonna go in one ear and out the other. Those thoughts, and they gonna always stick right there with them. They still may be doing what they doing, but for sure it's like, okay, well, this is what I want to do. Then they gonna figure out, well, what is it I'm gonna need to get there? And it's gonna be hard work, man. Finding a different set of friends and stuff like that. You know, stepping outside your comfort zone. You know, and I think that's the only way we're gonna be able to build character. I mean, it's in them. They tough, they hard, they just right there. It's in them, man. So like you say, let's channel that energy in a more positive direction.
Yeah.
So when you're transitioning to the pen now, did anybody ever give you any type of like heads up and say, hey, you're a youngster, you just turned 18, fool, you about to hit the county, you got a life sentence, and there's a lot that comes with that because this is prison, and they gonna look at you like you here all day. You got a lot to. Did anybody ever have that talk with you?
No, it wasn't. That wasn't a talk.
Damn.
Like the talk was, you know, how to make knives, you know, what to look out for. This is how you hold security when the homie go into the restroom and stuff like that. Those was the talks right there. And so, you know, I took that and ran with that too. And as I got older and younger homies started coming in the pen, I started delivering the same message to them. You know, I started delivering the same message to them. It wasn't until I knew that I had the opportunity of getting out of prison to where I went down to Ironwood and I met a guy there, Marsh. You know, Marcus Marsh. One of my older homies, right?
Okay.
So
Same neighborhood and everything?
No, he wasn't from the same neighborhood, but he helped raise me in there.
Gotcha.
Right, he's my cellmate for some years and stuff like that. Big dude. We up in there, you know, wrestling and stuff like that, right? And so the things that he taught me, once we got to Ironwood and he seen me, he like, bro, I'm sorry. He like, man, I led you in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? So it was a full 180. He started crying, I started crying,
Mm.
you know. And so he helped me with my path, and it was hard. It's like, damn, if this is what he doing now, this is what we do. Okay, this is what we doing, you know. And he started helping me understand and realize, like, man, like we was led wrong from the get go. You know, this ain't no life right now. And I think what really changes once you understand that you more than prison. You know, some gotta give. You wake up every like, I hate being in this motherfucker. You know, I think once you understand who you are as a person, and that this you done outgrown this, you know, that's when that life is starting to change.
So how many years would you say that it took you to come to that moment
Man,
out of a 27-year
right.
prison bid?
Um, shit, probably 19, 18, maybe
So
something like
so
that.
night. So you start at 18. You doing the whole thing that comes with it, in and out the hole, probably
Yeah,
doing your stuff. 19, 20 years of that,
about
and then
something like that to fully get it, because I could say, well, I'm not doing this, or I'm not kicking it with the homies no more. I'm not going to the tables, but yet and still I'm smoking weed, knowing that I can get drug tested, right, and get Papa dirty, and that messes up my chances. Or I'm still carrying a knife. You know, I may not gonna tell the homies what to do. Y'all need to do this. Y'all need to do that, and in fear that it's gonna get back to the program office. But you know, uh, if I was you, I would probably do this or throw it out there in a roundabout way. And that's like the residue that we still had in the criminal thinking and the gang mentality. Like I thought I was doing the right thing, and I wasn't. You know,
yeah.
I wasn't, man. It wasn't until I really got to Ironwood and was around the group of guys that's really going home. Like I'm seeing dudes go home. All these years, I wasn't seeing nobody going home on them yards. So there's no hope there. How can I say that I got hope of going home when I ain't seeing nobody go home? You know, especially with a sentence like me. You know, but Human Rights Watch. Elizabeth Calvin. She reached out
Shout
to
out
me.
Elizabeth Calvin, man. They
Most
do a lot
definitely.
of work specifically with the LWAPs, right?
Most definitely. I get a letter when I was sitting in the cell with my boy Marcus. I get a letter saying that they're working on a bill to get me home. Not only me, but all the other juveniles that was affected in California. I think it could have been like about 288 of us that was that had life without throughout the institutions in California.
Yep.
Um, so that was like a little glimmer of hope right there. But it wasn't nothing that really grabbed me, because I was too far gone at that time, And
Was this right after the whole thing with your celly, the realization that you had with him? We're like, fuck, we both led each other down the wrong path, and
at that time he was in the cell with me. Like, well, he had life without too, but he didn't catch his as a juvenile. These bills that's out now, I believe is going to help him. Like he's still in there right now.
okay,
We fighting to get him out. It's like you help all these other guys get out and transfer their thinking, but yet and still you still in there.
Yeah.
You know, like that weighs heavily on him and the rest of the other fellas that's out here trying to get him out. You know, but no, at that time it's like, okay, it was a legal letter. I thought about it. Like I say, I didn't know what it looked like.
random letter though.
Random
Mail
door.
call, the cop
Yeah,
walks by the door and says, "Hey, you got mail."
no, a legal lady came through.
Legal, so
Legal
it came
mail.
envelope
Yeah,
stamped and everything.
exactly. Opened up when they opened up the tray slot. Yeah, make sure fan like to make sure no contraband in there and stuff like that. And I read it. I let him read it. And well, we'll see. I can't remember the exact conversation, but it's like the feeling I was high here, and then it was back to normal. Like I got the mail at nighttime, but that morning time we had yours, so it's back to business. And at that time I was in high desert, so it was a lot of violence going on up there, in that particular time frames right there. And so you go out there at the yard and you prepare yourself mentally for it, you know.
Snows and shit out there, right? Something
Yeah, snow. Yeah, we done had dudes been built big ass snowmans.
Oh, really? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We had ended up playing football in the snow and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's cold. It's cold up there, man. You know.
You would think that'll start changing dudes' mindset too. Just that in harsh environment, especially if you're from LA. You're like, man, I'm really in jail up here
Yeah,
with fucking snow and
Yeah.
but
cold. We don't go through that out here. If you're out here in CRC or Chino, you
yeah,
got what you got 80-degree weather. You chilling, but
that's
up there,
right.
you would think that's like a perfect picture story of what prison should be like, or what the media expects it to be like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you that's why you get your beanies and thermos, man. Prepare for
Mhm.
it.
So, how many years in did you say when you get this letter?
um, I believe I got that letter around 2005, probably 2005. I believe I got that letter. So I was probably was it 9 years in? Could have been like 9 years in. I got that letter.
Damn. So it
You
still a
know?
little bit of hope, a little bit of light, and then it immediately gets shut down because you got to go out there to yard now. You got to
Yeah.
function, and nothing's really happening at this time with
And
those laws, right?
no, it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the thing. Like wasn't nothing happening with no laws. Wasn't nobody talking about no or they just passed this law that's gonna help three strikes and stuff like that. So um there's nothing. It wasn't until these laws started changing that people like that, dang, I could really get out. But for me, and it snuck up on me about my pro day, me being able to go to pro. That's counselor just called me in the building one day, in the office one day, and said, man, look, man, probably in a year from now, you're gonna be able to go to pro. Go to the board. And that like blew my mind. I was already on the path though, of transformation. And that just like heightened it even more. Because at Ironwood, like walking a child, you got dudes standing on the curb and like, man, where you going? You got to stop. Oh, he going home. And we was seeing this stuff maybe like every week.
So you saw it around. You saw people going home. You're like,
Most
damn, this shit's
definitely.
happening. Like,
Yeah, it's happening. At this time, the laws is changing. Like in about 2014, I think it was, Miller versus like the United States Supreme Court had ruled that it was unconstitutional to give juveniles life without. So because of that ruling, I was able to file a petition in the courts and try to get my release. But that ended up getting stalled because of SB 394. So SB 394 allowed juveniles who had life without doing like I get in their 25th year in incarceration to go to board. So that law right there is what got me to board.
Earlier than the 25 though.
Early,
You
yeah.
did 25 before.
No, yeah, no. I was passing my 25th year. Yeah,
Really?
so you are
Okay.
qualified technically.
yeah. See, I qualified.
Okay.
Yeah, so that right there allowed me to go to board.
So did you prior to that? Did you already hear about Ironwood being one of those prisons where people are going home from?
No, actually, I didn't. I just heard Ironwood was a level 3 because I ended up getting what did he call it? I had level 4 points, but because of they say my good behavior, actually wasn't really nothing going on. Then lockdowns.
Slam down. Huh?
Exactly. So that helped with that as well. So I got override. That's what they call it. So I got
This
over.
is 14, 15-ish?
Yes.
Okay, and that time, that's like the inception of it. A lot they were starting to allow youngsters, which was unheard of, to leave 4 yards with fresh sentences. They were judging them based on their character, doing the point system a little different.
Yeah.
And they were getting put on 3 yards where there's actually programming, and you didn't have to be slammed down all day. Right?
Yeah. And that's huge for them to get to.
It's important.
Right. It's important, but also, I think that maybe if I want to say structure for them, right? Because they come down there and I done seen guys that did 20 some years in prison, come down there to a level 3, and it's like, man, who are you? Like, I never seen this attitude or anything like that before from you. But what it was when they was on these level 4, like they was faking it. They was faking it, and they got down here and they finally could be themselves like this, and this is who they were. This is who you were. So it blew my mind a little bit like I say, we always thinking about, how can we better ourselves and stuff like that. And so I used to love to see that, like, okay, this is who you really are right here, man. Cause it seemed really wasn't no politics going on down there, but it was. It was a programming yard. Um, and so guys was, programming, doing the self-help, whether they up in there faking it or whatever, just for the chrono, but it's something they're gonna get out of it. But once you start, facilitating the groups, you got eyes on you. So, if you get caught doing this or doing that, it's like, I'm not really gonna listen to you, man, because you faking it. I needed somebody that's gonna tell me the real. This is what's going on. Yeah, I do this, I do that. Um, just don't try to, hide it and stuff like that, I guess.
Pretty dope to hear that. Like Ironwood is just that one spot that the inmates created that culture. Where
Yeah.
we've heard stories of guys here where they're like, when they see a youngster going to go play dominoes or some shit, they're like, bro, where you going?
Yeah.
Take your ass to a program, go to self help, go get something going. You can't just sit here and just bum it, which is incredible to have older
No.
dudes, seasoned dudes, be like, you know what? People are going home. What are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly. Especially just imagine like if that would have happened to us when we first came in. If they would have had these programs when we first came in.
Yeah.
Especially we come in, we talk to them, see how much sentence they got, if they're going to board or not. Well, now they got programs they can go to get their sentence knocked down. So why not take advantage of it? But I understand they young, they fresh here. They want to kick with their homies and stuff like that. So if their homies not doing it, why they gonna do it?
Great point.
But once you start talking about, the possibility of getting out or the possibility of staying in here, what you want to do longer? Like, don't nobody want to spend Christmas, you know what I'm saying? New Year's in prison, man, not out there with their family.
Yeah.
Birthdays, they missing births of whether they cousins, brothers, or sisters, or something like that. But yet and still you stuck in prison and got to talk to them for a 15-minute phone call. After a while, man, that stuff, once it start getting old, then you start like, damn, I need to really get my stuff together. You know?
You did you experience that yourself?
Um,
You're like, I'm tired of being here with the fellas. I want to go home.
yeah, the food wasn't good no more, man. I said, man, I need to get up out of here.
Not even the Grand Slam. That didn't hit it no more, huh?
It ain't even a Grand Slam no more.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Just coffee cake at most, huh?
Man, look, 2 by 2 inch coffee cake, man.
Okay. So
They talk about they want to work on a better diet, right? That's what they hit us with.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we was getting. I think what it was I realized that I was better than prison, man. Like this is not who I am no more, And I think once that hit me, like, okay, I'm not this person no more. So what do I do to try to get out? Right? I mean, I had the guys in front of me now. They go into the groups. They go into the board, getting found suitable. Okay, this is the path right here. I didn't know how hard it was gonna be though. Because at that time when I was still at Iowa, I was still at the table, kicking with the homies, and
No self help groups though. You didn't really sign up for that yet. At
the time, only self help group I went to was in the high desert. It was like a arts and correction class to where we did a play. So I was the director of one of the plays that we did.
Okay.
First time ever
Lawrence,
there.
huh?
Yeah, or a arts program as well. And that was it. They had AA in there, but that was ran probably once every 3 months or something like that. It wasn't like Ironwood. Like when you went there, like it's self help every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And for those that really wanted it, on the weekends we'd be in chapel doing board prep. And we used to be on guys that would say they going to board, but you ain't in board prep. Man, get your ass up in here, man. I'll be on the ass like this. What you really want? Let's go. They might come a couple weeks and maybe we'll miss a week. So, like, hey, I can only push them so far, man.
Right.
But yeah, but going through there, sitting in the group, listening to the fellas talk. I really didn't do no talking. Like I'm just there observing, listening, taking it in, and talked to my boy KD. he was like down a tier from me. Called him the self-help guru.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
so he was young. He was like 30 some years old, and he helped me out so much. As far as helped me prepare my board packing and stuff like that. What needs to go in it? Like we getting this information from the streets, and we bringing it to the masses. And he's out here doing great. Got his little nonprofit now.
Go.
Okay,
Ali,
man.
yeah, Afterlife Initiative, which I'm part of. Had our first opening like about a couple weeks ago. Was able to give away some funds, man, to fellas that just got out of prison like 30 days out, 20 some days out.
That's good.
Yeah. So, that's doing everything we can, man, to give back. Let them know it's gonna be a journey out here, man, but we here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing things, man. An amazing feeling, I'm sure, for you that you're seeing some of these guys that help you prep and do all that. And now they're out too, and you're out
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, no, most definitely it is because like we talked about it while we was in it, what we gonna do, and came out and we making it happen. Came out and making it happen. It took me a little bit. Supposed to been out probably about like 2 years ago, but I'm here. I'm here now, man, and
Is this because of all the stuff that came up after?
or after me going aboard.
Yeah, okay. So let's start with So I'm assuming. So did you know that the 25th year was coming up? Were you
I
aware of
didn't.
that being a possibility of going aboard?
No, I didn't. This, like I say, the counselor hit me with this. Just one day, she called me in the office and said, "This is your paper you need to sign, and this and that. This is what you're gonna be looking forward to." And it blew my mind. Like I'm finally going aboard.
So out of nowhere, though, you just
Yeah.
strolling in the yard, doing your thing, doing whatever.
Yeah, in
and
the
they
day
just say,
room. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, the counselor called me in the office and said, "Man, this is what's going on." And I was stuck for a little bit because I was still waiting on my case as far as my habeas petition that I filed into the courts.
Okay.
I'm waiting for them to take me back down to court to get resentenced.
Because of like SB 260 or 261?
No, I was
or
well. I was
something?
on the SB 9, but when I filed the petition, it was on Miller versus Alabama, and that was in like 2014, I believe, that we filed it. And so at this time, I was in Ironwood maybe like 2018. I think 2018, I went to Ironwood. Prior to that, I did go back down to the county based on the Miller versus Alabama, but it was a dry run. They didn't do nothing. I was thinking that they was going, okay, this is the time they're going to overturn this LWOP sentence, and they didn't do it. They said they needed more time. So he sent me back to prison. I'm like, okay, the ball is rolling. So this is what I'm waiting on. But that didn't happen. SB 394 came about, and it blew my mind, man. So it's like I'm preparing for this stuff right now. I better be ready for when this board comes, you know. And for sure, I was ready for it. I was prepared for it. My boys, they had left. They had got they had went to board, got found suitable. They was gone.
Yeah.
So it's like the crew of guys that I was around at that time in the building, like they're gone. And then I think COVID hit. So now we just locked in the building. We're not going nowhere. They shut down everything. And so I used to stay up late nights, early morning at the time, still taking my college class and stuff that I was able to roll in college when I got there to Ironwood. So I'm doing college, I'm doing my board stuff, staying up late nights, early mornings, and getting it done, man. And went in there, got found suitable,
There you go.
you know. Yeah, and that was a
So first shot, first time
first
you go
shot.
to board,
Most
you
definitely,
you got
like
found
yeah,
suitable.
like I told myself, it was years. Like I didn't even know if I was gonna go to board, but I told myself if I ever get a chance to go to board, I'm gonna get found suitable.
There you go.
And it was. I wouldn't say that it was hard. It was. I wouldn't say it was easy, but like I was prepped before. From guys, like we asked each other the hard questions. Like you can't sit up here and try to tell me answer when I know it's bullshit, or you just skimming on the surface and you're not diving deep into the emotion stuff. Like that's where it's from. We talk about our experiences. Give examples. What made you change your life? Because you can't say, "Oh, this happened." Like there has to be examples there like real life examples that make, you know what, that's not my lifestyle no more. So yeah, went in there, got found suitable, first shot, and it's like, okay, cool, like,
20,
two,
20, 26, my fault to cut you up, but 26, 27 years in,
yeah,
you hear the people say those words. You've been found suitable.
yeah. I'm like, man,
What was going through your mind when? Because I know there's that period where they're like, "All right, step out, give us a second," right? There was that period where they had you step
oh
out,
yeah, for the deliberation, yeah.
and then you came back in. That's
I
when they
came
told you
back
the
in,
results, right? So
so
what was
it's
going through
like,
your mind at that point?
I want to make sure I hear if you find out I'm suitable or not suitable. You know, because when my boys, yeah, came back, said, man, after it was over, I didn't even know if I was found suitable or not. My attorney had to say, yeah, he did find you suitable. You know,
Okay,
so
that's
I'm trying,
crazy.
yeah, so I'm trying to catch,
Sugarcoated it,
yeah,
huh?
I'm trying to catch the words. And he said, you know, I did a remarkable change, but it was through grace. Because don't nobody committing a murder should be able to, you know, say and get out. But it was through grace and my transformation that they found me suitable. You know,
Genuine transformation. These people are vetting
yeah,
hundreds, thousands
Right.
of people. They know if you're bullshitting or not, right?
yeah. Not only that, but through chronos and stuff like that, I was able to have staff give me chronos. Even had a chrono from, you know, lieutenant and captain in regards to program that we had did or that we had put on. So at that time, a lot of guys was overdosing. You know, so what we did, we got together, the mentors, we got together, and we wanted to have like I wouldn't say a convention, but what was it that we had? It was in 2020 though. We was able to bring all the yard into the gym. Well, we did it through sections and let them know the effects of the drugs and stuff like that. From dudes wigging out on spice, you know,
Spice caught on, huh?
ODing and stuff
heard
like
about
that.
Spice,
Yeah.
yeah.
But not only that, we was able to bring some guys up to where how it affected them and their families. You know, we had staff, not the CEOs, but regular staff come and give speeches and stuff like that. Um, so we, and then after that we did a 90 for 90. You know,
What's that?
did it with AANA. So we had 90 meetings in 90 days. So we was able to captain. He allowed us to have these guys that was in the building that wanted to attend these meetings. We had it on the yard. You know, so that was in there as a chrono about things that I was doing on the yard. Cause I'm not a guy that like boasts and brags about stuff that, you know, I do. Just do it. Luckily, they was able to highlight it because we didn't think that we didn't even know that we was gonna get a chrono. Like that wasn't our thing. We just knew that the yard was hurting by these dudes ODing and stuff like that, and something needed to be done. So how can I say that, you know, we doing this and we doing that, but yet we don't try to help the yard? You know, so that's one of the big things, and we was rewarded with chronos for it.
That's amazing.
So the board was able to see it, and the thing about it is, like, you know, the victim's family came at the board hearing too. They didn't want me out, which, let's say, is that you never know exactly how you affect somebody unless they really tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for all these years, like they may never forgive me.
Was this the first time where you were like, kind of like open to now, or having them tell you how they felt, or is that the first time, or is that like?
This was besides my hearing at trial when they gave the victim impact statement. This was the first time that I've heard from him. But actually, when I was going through my SB, my Miller versus Alabama, his son had came and sat in the front seat of the courtroom, the furthest to the door, to make sure that when I came out, he was the first person I was going to see.
Damn.
You know, which I mean, I understand why they wouldn't let me want me back out, because all they know of me is a 16-year-old kid that murdered their father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't know my transformation. They don't know the things that I do for others and stuff like that. This is how they look at me and they view me, which I understand. And that was able to give them just a glimpse of the things that I was doing since I've been incarcerated, and took full advantage of my transformation and rehabilitation. And it was hard, it was hard hearing what they had to say. Um, but it's how they feel. That's how. This is the trauma that I caused.
Yeah.
This is the trauma that I caused, and I had to deal with that right there, no matter how harsh the words were. And at the same time, I knew I wasn't that man no more. I'm not saying that it didn't hurt, because it did.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't let it affect, who I was, and the board members was able to see that. And despite having pushback from Orange County district attorneys and stuff like that, assembly members write them letters to the board saying why they shouldn't release me. They don't know me. Like I say, all they know me is that from the crime I committed.
Damn, they were doing a lot to.
No, I mean, and it's rightfully so.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of guys that it's rightfully so. Like
that's dope, man. That you're actually highlighting. The victims have a say so too, and I think that's a lot of the times we get, especially down here, we get some of those comments where we're not highlighting like people like just getting out or whatever. Like, we're talking about a whole transformation that people are having, and then still having to go through a panel of judges and court systems to be able to get out. You know, they're not just letting you out, and then you add to that 27 years later. But the fact that you're highlighting that, and you're aware that the victim has that say so, and you're what do you call that? You're taking it in. Your accountability.
Yeah.
You're taking accountability for it. And it's and again, like I said, I know what's in there. Seeing all the. I tell people, my best guys are former lifers. Those people, the guys that are previous lifers, are the ones that are going to change the world, given the opportunity, because of the outlook. No one has an outlook of the possibility of never having seen the light of day. And now being out after putting in all that work, and not only just the work physically and actually doing things mentally. You yourself as an individual had to change your train of thought.
Yeah, and it had to be a reason behind it. Like you never know exactly the lives that you harmed until something like this happened.
Yeah.
Right? And you look at it as like full circle. It's like, damn, like I fucked up, man.
16 years old, fucked up.
And exactly. Not even knowing what the world had to offer, not even knowing the consequences behind our actions. And so understanding that is like you have to talk about both things as a whole, because they're one. Like, it's a story there, and you can't leave this out without having this. Like you say, accountability. A lot of guys don't like to talk about their past actions for their crimes, because it's still shameful.
Yeah.
It's still shameful. And for sure it is, but I tell them, like, that's not you no more.
Mm-hmm.
That's not you no more. So you should be able to talk about it, talk about all that stuff right there. It's gonna hurt, for sure it is, right. Because you hurt a lot of people, like not only the victim's family, but your family as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something that I had to understand. It's like, how can I say I love my mama, but yet mama about to go on this mission? So I ain't gonna see you probably about like 2 years. If you do come visit, it's gonna be behind a glass window.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, up north somewhere.
Exactly. Like, she used to travel by herself, solo bolo, come see me in the snow.
High desert?
High desert. So I'm like, damn, like, yeah. Like, it didn't matter if I was in New York, she was coming.
That's right. Shout out to moms.
Yeah, most definitely. And I lost her right before I got out.
Oh, no way.
That's rough.
Yeah. So the day that I found out that, so let me take you back, right? I get found suitable. So I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. People in the yard is ecstatic. Like 2 days after I get found suitable, they had a blood and crip riot on the yard. And so I'm not tripping.
2 days after.
2 days after I get found suitable.
And to put out, I'm sorry to cut you off, but to put out, you technically have what, like 90 days where you got to be
150 days.
150 days.
Because I had to murder, yeah. So the 90 days, they do their investigation, go through your C file, go over the board transcripts, make sure nothing was messed up with it, and then after that, it probably sits for like 30 days or something before it goes up to the governor, and see if he's gonna
Void it or not.
exactly.
Okay.
So, and that's the thing. Like we used to always talk about, like 150 days. Like I got found suitable. I should get out today.
Crazy, huh?
Why we got it?
Yeah.
Y'all should have did all this shit. You know what I'm saying from the beginning. But once again, it's a process, man. That you say you got to respect the process.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta like it, but it say respect the process. So yeah, 2 days after you get found suitable, blood and crip riot happened. Like I said, I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't involved in. I'm way over here on the pull-up bars and stuff like that with one of my boys talking about what happened because he was gonna be prepared to go to board too. And so at the time I was a Mac rep. I was a Mac rep for the yard. So we do our little walk and talk and stuff like that. Did that. Everything was gonna be cool. It's basketball dinner with youngsters, man. It was a wild P yard too. So you can imagine.
Youth offender parolees.
Yeah, right. So a lot of them, like you were saying, a lot of them got sent there after they was sentenced because of the youth factor and the laws that passed. And so they there, do get fouled and get mad and stuff like that. And it was crazy. It was you got dudes trying to break it up. So that tells you exactly how serious the fight was. And so, one of the things that some of the officers asked me was when I was in the program, I was like, well, is anything gonna happen? Like, no, nothing's gonna happen. Like it's over with. Well, who started it? I said, as a Mac rep, I'm the liaison between us and y'all. My thing is right now is to make sure no more violence happens. I said that question that you asked me, I don't know who started it. I never asked those questions. Yeah. Right? And so 4 months, so fast forward 4 months, I'm probably about maybe I think probably like about 40 some days I was gonna get released. I get a letter from Sacramento saying that they're reviewing my suitability and that it's going en banc due to a statement that says that I gave to officers that I was a Crip. I need to see what's going on with my homies, so I need to walk and talk. Like that never happened.
That's nuts.
Like that conversation never happened.
Man.
Damn, they were really trying to get you with
45
that.
days, you're feeling it. You could taste the free air, and you get hit with some BS, huh?
Yeah, so they called me for legal mail. Thinking like, my attorneys ain't send me nothing. What the fuck is this? And so usually around that time when you can get legal mail from Sacramento, it's not good.
Okay.
So I'm going back to the building reading it. I said, man, it's some bullshit. It's gotta be. So it was about count time. So I paced the cell that whole time before I went to child. Going back over, like, I mean, how the fuck can this shit be happening right now? And knowing that it was a lie. That's like if I said something, okay, cool, I take it. Y'all got me. I said, yeah. But this is something that never happened. And yeah, so it was some like, and it's crazy because the guy that I was talking to, one of the sergeant, I couldn't talk to him because he was out. He had cancer, so he was going through some chemo. So I couldn't look, this was going on, man. What the fuck is this shit right here? I couldn't get in contact with him. So I got that letter on a Thursday. My bunk hearing was on a Monday. So, during the bunk hearing, I'm able to write a letter to the board members. I could have people call in and speak on my behalf as well. So I had to hurry up and write a letter that same night about what happened. Send it out. Call my attorneys, let them know what's going on. So people, they did come and speak on my behalf, and I didn't find that out until Wednesday, like a Wednesday. I called my sister and she's like, well, let me see what it said. Like she already knew what it says. She's probably trying to think how I'm gonna give them the bad news right here, Yeah, and all I could say like fuck. But they did give me another hearing, another parole hearing. It was I think February 25th. So I went to that hearing, but in between that hearing, the victim's family filed a petition against SB 394.
Oh man.
So this is the petition that allowed me to go to board.
Crazy.
So yeah, so when they filed it, I said, "What is this?" I'm like, "This ain't nothing right here." I didn't really think nothing of it. But they eventually end up winning that petition, right?
What was the petition? Can you explain?
SB 394. Well, that was the one that allowed juveniles as life without to go to board.
Okay.
After 25
But,
years.
At the 20
what was the victim's petition that law is not just or something?
So
like
they were
that?
saying it was unconstitutional, right?
Unconstitutional.
So yeah, I
okay.
believe in 1990. I can't remember what bill it was that passed that allowed juveniles to receive life without in the first place. And in order to change that, they had to get 2/3 vote in both the Assembly and the Senate. So SB 3 only had 2/3 vote in one house and not the other. But it wasn't for that. It was to sort of, I wouldn't say amend Miller versus Alabama. But eventually they end up winning. They end up winning that petition that they filed. But I was able to this afterward. So I go to board on the 25th of February. I get found suitable again. And so now this petition is still going on. So what I looked into was that, okay, well, what happens if they win this petition? Well, remember the petition that the habeas that I filed, it's still in the courts. But I'm not knowing that it was still open or not. So eventually, like I say, they end up winning that petition, and the judge ordered CDCR not to release me.
So you saw your release date come and pass. The
Twice.
Release date they gave you
Yeah.
the first time once you went to board. So it was whatever date, 25th or whatever, and you're still there.
I'm still here. Like I don't even supposed to be here, even for my first hearing, right? And so when that sergeant had came back, he found out what happened. He's like, man, it's fucked up. He wrote a chrono for me saying that since he's known me, he's never known or heard of me to involved in any gangs.
This is the same guy that put. Well, as far as this is the same guy that put that statement out.
Well, actually, it was his captain that put that statement in there.
Gotcha.
So when he came back to work, he looked at what was written, his statement that he had wrote, and he seen that the captain went back in there, put like another paragraph in there.
Damn. Maybe that should work. So then you have that which he could protect you on that, but the petition was the issue.
Yeah.
That was on top of that.
Yeah,
Add to that.
right. And then so now this happened right here. So it's like twice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't hit the home run twice, but yeah, I didn't win the game.
That's a lot, man.
So
That's a
no,
lot,
it
man.
was like I was like, damn. So I had the thoughts like, am I ever fucking getting out of prison?
It's discouraging. You're getting pushed back, pulled back more and more. You're like, man, you could easily be like, fuck this, and then just.
No, yeah, and it was those thoughts there, dealing with other people as well. Like I'm angry for this situation, but yet this dude may rub me the wrong way, and I'll be quick to react. Like I caught myself a couple times, and I knew exactly where that anger was coming from. It wasn't that; it was what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? So why I'm gonna put what I'm going through on this guy right here and fuck around, jeopardize what I done worked so hard for? And it's easy to just disappear just that one thing. Mm-hmm. You make that one choice, that one decision, and now all this hard work I done did all these years, once again, my background, my past gonna come up from my write-ups and all these riots and stabbings and stuff like that. Like that's gonna come up like, see, I told you, this is exactly who he is.
Damn.
Just because I couldn't control my emotions. Yeah. Right? Like I done worked so hard for this, for them. Like I wasn't giving them that. You're not getting that. That's out.
Dope, bro. You had that
like,
set. You had that in you.
Yeah, yeah. You're not getting that. Like I'm better than that right there. And sometimes I think that God puts you in places to see exactly how you're gonna perform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, testing you.
Or bring people in your life to see exactly how you're gonna perform. Like, is you really about this walk that you're talking about?
There you go.
Right. So I think about all these things, man.
When was it that now, like you get the green light? Like, how did you find out you get the green light that now you can go home?
Well, okay, so after the judge ordered CDCR not to release me, my attorneys filed. They looked at my petition that was still in the courts,
The 2014 petition.
Exactly. It was still open.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still open. And
which is crazy because this is what 2022.
it's like 10 years later. Like close to like 10 years later. You know? And what they did, they filed a motion over to juvenile courts. Remember, I was juvenile when this stuff happened.
Yeah.
Right? So they filed into juvenile court. They had to have a hearing in order for it to bound it over. And we went through a couple of things, and eventually we had the hearing. It was on April 18th. We had the hearing, and the judge ruled that my stuff would be going to the juvenile courts. So that's what I knew what could happen if they won a petition. Like, I can get out through the courts, through the juvenile system. So it's essentially, this worked on my behalf. So the year and a half that I stayed up in there, it worked out. And something that I had to tell myself is that when I was going through them struggles, like, why the fuck I'm still in here? I was supposed to be gone. I'm seeing dudes get found suitable, leaving.
Yeah.
You know, all this stuff. I had to remind myself, like, I murdered somebody, man, and he's not coming back. You know, like, their family is never going to see them again. All they have is their memories. Yeah. You know, I have an opportunity to still be able to get out, whether it's a year and a half from now, 2 years, 3 years from now, to be with my family. You know, so I always kept that as a reminder, man. And so once my stuff got bound over to juvenile, it was only a matter of less than a month for me to maybe get out. You know, that happened in the morning, and I found out that evening is when my mom had passed. You know,
man.
So it's like I was on a high and then hit the low. And I'll say that, you know, she finally found that I'll be able to come home. Now she could, you know, rest. So yeah, that was extreme. That was extremely hard night that night, man.
So many mixed emotions.
So many mixed emotions. I'm thinking, like, fuck, you could have easily just flipped out and been like, bro, I was supposed to be gone. I could have had a year. I could have whatever. But like you said, you know, God, the powers that be, whatever, could have been put you in that position just to see where you were, you know, to really test it. That's a overwhelming thing of emotions there, you know?
No, it is. It is. And that's something that, you know, I went back and forth for. Like, I've been supposed to be out. You know, if this didn't happen, this dude lying to me or lying on me, you know, before, like, and it's crazy because when I found out it was a captain that did it, I don't think he knew I knew. And we walking like this. I was like, damn, man, I can get this food right now.
You have to see him the day after the day and that day after.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy, like, man. I can get this food right now. I said, what good is that going to cause? Yeah. Like, for sure, I'll be back up in there for at least another 10 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Put a smile on his face because he's going to be like, you fuck yours off.
Yeah.
True.
So, when did this happen? So, an incident ended up happening between two races. It was us and the Serranos in the building. And so they called me to the program office. At this time, I gave up the Mac rep job. I said, man, fuck this shit.
Sounds like more trouble, more headache.
No, most definitely, yeah. And I gave it up, and so he called me to the office, like, hey, man, you know, I know you heard what happened this morning in the building between two fractions. I need you to walk and talk, man. I said, yeah, right. So this is after they done snatched my suitability because of this dude right here.
So the same lieutenant was asking you to help out.
Exactly.
Be the voice of the reason.
Wow. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Same dude, huh?
So yeah, and when I told him no, it seemed like he got mad. I said, man, send me back to the cell, man.
Did he know at that point that you knew that he had put a statement on you?
He probably did. He knew who I was.
The nerve, huh? To still
he knew I was,
you.
like, and it was crazy because some of the his COs was like, man, that's fucked up, man. I said, yeah, man, it's I said, man, I'll be out though. You know, I'll be out. So I never gave them the impression of, you know, frustration because they told me how frustrated they was. And that kind of like helped me, you know, stay level headed. I said, well, if they frustrated, they can just imagine how I felt. Okay. Yeah. You know. So yeah, man, I just thought about that right there. Yeah, something else happened. You want to call me back out?
That's nuts, man.
Yeah,
That is nuts. And if that's not a test, then I don't know what is. And the good thing is you're here now, so
Right.
you did what you had to do, and you completed all those. You
Yeah.
surpassed those tests, and
Bunch of fucking tests, a bunch of
Yeah,
trials.
man.
You got a bunch of tests, and you passed every single one of them.
yeah, yeah.
So question: what happens to the victim statement that got superseded by the 2014 petition that you put in? Because that's now law that a juvenile can't be tried as adult, and now you go on that kind of on those basis.
Say the question again. You say,
Um,
well, that when they filed the petition, well, that was just the judge ruled ordered for it to just be directly towards me. But
Okay.
keep in mind that there's other people that got out under SB 394. So it's like, why am I the only one being affected by it, right?
question, yeah.
So it's something that could have been brought up, but it would have opened so much cans of worms. Like, I still have this over here, right? My stuff is still open in juvenile courts. I mean, that's still there, but let's do this first right here.
Okay.
Let's do this first right here. Because sure, we could have pushed this issue legal wise, but I still have another option. If this don't work, then let's come back to this right here. But yeah, I was able to get out, not on parole, on probation,
Not on
Right.
parole, on probation.
juvenile.
So the
Yeah.
Right.
juvenile, man, no
Yeah.
amity, no, none of the transition
Exactly,
homes,
right.
none of
CRP
the
stuff.
Well, yeah, and I am in a
no ankle monitor, nothing.
None. I ain't got
Okay.
the
I thought you were gonna
I-
show us right now. I mean, I'm looking a little bulky down there. Like, you might.
yeah.
First thing I look is the bulkiness.
Oh,
You
yeah,
see the-
you already know.
I'm like, man, my boy's an
You got one?
NCRP or something, you know.
Man, and if they ever ask me have I been convicted of a felony, I can say no.
That's
Really?
nuts.
Okay.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, so it's it eventually worked out in our favor, man. It just had to go through a few trials and tribulations and maybe, learn myself some more through that right there. Probably wasn't ready to come home at that moment.
True.
Right? But then now I gotta get out here and I mean society is great. First
Real quick, just to take it back a little bit, when they granted you parole, the real time, the final time, did you get released after, and did you have those feelings of like, man, this shit's gonna happen all over again, where they ain't gonna let me go?
well, I know they couldn't. Once I got into the juvenile section of the courts, there's nothing they could do.
There was
okay.
no period after that or anything. They would let you go maybe that same week or something like that. Or
I got May 11th, so that was probably less than a month afterwards.
fast. It's quick.
Yeah,
They tell you, and it's not even being granted parole or anything because you're not on parole, and it's not that type of. It's the different law now.
yeah,
And so you just straight up, hey, on this date you go home.
Yeah.
yeah. I had to. What was the process when they said, okay, they're gonna release you? All right, cool. Now I gotta wait to hear from the guys from the program office what date it's gonna be.
Okay.
And so it was like, I think they released it maybe like within 72 hours. But
you
it could
had a
be any.
release date on paper.
Yeah, it was gonna be, yeah. So they give it to me, say, man, look, they say you going, man. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go back. They call me from the program office. Okay, this is it right here. It was getting kind of late at night too,
Heart
though.
pumping.
Yeah, it was getting kind of late at night, but I knew what it was. I'm thinking day was about to end. I said we're going to have to wait again the next day. But yeah, he gave me the paper and said, man, you out of here. Good luck. You
Take
know?
us to that day now. You get out. You're getting out. Who picking you up?
My
all that, take us to
sister,
that.
my sister come pick me up. My little niece, she said, "Well, I'm taller than you." You know what I'm saying?
He told you that?
Yeah, my little niece. It's crazy. I remember when she was like 5 or 6, and the first time she came to visit, like she was standoffish. She didn't know me. She didn't know who I was. My mom came to bring her, and so she wouldn't let me hold her to take the pictures or nothing. But she'd eat all of my Skittles up though.
That's
You know. And then the next day I came out, she come run, jump in my arms and stuff like that. So that was huge right there.
You know what? The reason why I think that's really crazy is because to build a relationship like that, Like to go from a relationship where it wasn't too close and build a relationship like that while you're incarcerated is nuts. That shows that you were putting in more effort as far as trying to keep that going
Yeah.
and doing your part. When a lot of people don't really do that too much, you know, they wait for the family to come through, but you were doing your part to show that I do want to be part of your life. I do want to be there and support Shaw while you guys supporting me too at the same time. And I
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah, and it's one of the things about it is that we lose so many relationships while we're in prison too over this extensive time, and we become emotionally numb to deaths in the family. You know, I became emotionally numb to when some of my uncles had passed or my aunties had passed, because we was no longer together like that.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to them like that for years. I'm just dealing with this stuff in prison. You know, yeah. So that happened, like this real life stuff, man. But yet and still, like those that are close to, they want to keep close to us. We have to keep those relationships going. You know, and so yeah, they came to visit. We went to go buy some clothes and stuff like that. And it's crazy because one of the outlets that we went to, I seen one of my boys. He working security. He had just got out Ironwood.
Nah, really?
Where'd you see him at?
Yeah.
Out here? Or you guys shopped out here or leaving?
Is it Camisol?
Oh, the outlets.
Yeah, one of the,
Camarillo?
Okay.
I don't think it's
It's
Camarillo.
the Capizone ones.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
Ironwood, you paroled from Ironwood?
Yeah, I proposed Ironwood.
Okay, I picked my
Yeah,
brother up too, and we dropped right in those same outlets.
Yeah.
Starbucks, walked through the whole little outlet.
yeah. I was asked. Look, I was at Starbucks, first Starbucks, but
Okay.
I let my little niece order what she was gonna order for me, and I said, "Man, what is this?"
She said latte. You said what?
Yeah, I'm like, "What is this?" And leaving Starbucks, yeah, I see one of my boys, man.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I said,
he-
you working
places, huh?
security?
Yeah, he working security. I looked at him. I said, "Man, what's going on?" I just talked to him maybe like a couple weeks ago. Let him know what was going on and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, seeing him, it was crazy.
Caught
You
you,
probably had
lacking
your
with that.
grays on and everything.
What did I have
Whatever
on?
dress outs you had.
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
tell
Sure
you
had
were
a
Yeah.
Starbucks cup in his
Yeah,
hand though.
Starbucks.
Little
Yeah.
Frappuccino. That's for sure. You got caught lacking for sure.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yep. And
That is huge, man.
and then from there, I end up.
Did that
was like
that
a-
kind of though? I'm sorry to cut you off. Did that kind of make you feel like, fuck, this is like hell yeah, like I could do that too?
Like, I
were you
made it.
inspired by that.
Yeah, exactly. Most definitely, especially anything that you're doing an honest work.
Mm-hmm.
Like your honest work, man. You know, one thing I don't want to do is no labor work. Like I'm cool on that. Let me use my brain, man, and trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
yeah. Yeah. So after that, we where did we go? We went to the Dodger game for the weekend. Attorneys hooked it up, man, from the Dodgers, and not only that, but some of my boys, they pulled up to Dodger Stadium. They heard that I was out. They pulled up to Dodger Stadium just to see me.
Without you knowing?
Childhood friends?
Yeah, child from junior high school.
Okay.
Did you know
You
they were
know?
pulling up or no?
Yeah, I knew they was coming. He said, you out? Yeah, I'm out, man. Like, where you? I said, I'm at the Dodger Stadium right now. We on our way right now.
Damn.
I'm interested. What was that interaction like? Seeing their faces, no longer the youngsters no more?
Yeah.
Like, what was running through your head when you seen, like, damn, the 27 years really done
Yeah.
passed? Which you probably didn't feel it because you're dealing with people in there and you're growing in there. But then you come out here, it's a fucking time capsule. You were just dropped off into the future, essentially.
Yeah, some people, transformation has been out of this world. But them, they was just like it was in junior high school and high school, man.
Okay.
You know, just a little bit bulkier.
Yeah.
You know? And it's crazy because I'm up there sitting there watching the game and I felt somebody throwing something at me. Hit me one time too. I said, man, somebody throwing something at me. You know, I had flashbacks of when I was at Raider games, man, and beers getting thrown from the top of the stand. They fighting. I said, man, how I'm gonna handle this right here? Somebody's literally throwing something at me.
See no evil. I'm
Yeah,
listening.
I stayed for it. Yeah, exactly. And my sister looked at me and did like that. I looked, and it was my boy Brian over there throwing some. He's doing something at me. I said, man, it's
Oh hell no! I'd be so mad.
yeah. He got me good though. But no, it was cool, man. And you know, to this day, man, he been right by my side, looking out, whatever. You know, yeah, no, it's great.
You were comfortable with the crowds like that too, right off the bat, like that.
Well, I was with my family, so that was cool, and it was Dodger Stadium, so I was all right. The first test I had is when I went to Lamert Park for Juneteenth,
Oh man,
and my boy Jesse was there with me.
that's
Shout
right.
You
out
know,
Jesse, my boy in
yeah.
the back.
Yeah.
And once it got kind of crowded, I started getting anxiety.
Mm.
You know, like I had a short sleeve shirt on, repping the ARC with the red, black, and green Africa
There you go.
thing. And I seen guys they looking at my tattoos. So I know the looks because I used to give people that same looks.
Yeah.
Looks, man.
You know, um, so it's like, man, I'm not out here for that right there. Like this is something that's no longer a part of me. You know, but yet and still these tattoos, they're conversations. They conversation starters and conversation that I wouldn't have no problem having a conversation about, but it's something that I don't even want to get initiated. You know, so that was like it was some high anxiety there, man. It was some high anxiety just basically because I know the area over there.
I was gonna say that's kind of like your community,
Most definitely,
right? And
yeah, it is.
so,
Yeah, it is my
like your
community right
immediate
there. Yeah,
side of South Central, where you're like,
exactly.
man, that's a little close to home, where you
No,
can, you know,
it's real close to home, man. So that was a little nerve wracking. That was a little nerve wracking right there, man. But now it's like I'm cool with crowds.
There you go.
okay,
Technology.
The
You're
the
still
crowds
something.
that I picked to go in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I'm comfortable, man. I'm pretty sure it's still some things that I need to go through to get a little more comfortable with. But I think one thing right now for me is driving on the freeway. It's like going around them curves. Like
On
that's
the
that
freeway.
on the freeway. Yeah,
Interesting. What like you're talking about like the big
yeah, I know.
rounds.
Sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes we gotta double, double. I know we
Oh.
want to just whip that, you know what I mean? But sometimes we gotta hit that corner and
just slow down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like
just.
if you want to car in back of me, you want to go around me, go ahead, man. It ain't no rush, man.
Right.
That's amazing,
know?
huh? Not having any of those pressures, like somebody honking at you. Cool. I ain't
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
Nah, none of that,
Yeah.
man. I'm you looking at everything with a different outlook.
yeah. Well, I think one thing used to help is I used to call my boy. I was in prison. And he was out. He'd be out driving, going to work. And I hearing him, man, what's wrong with this? This motherfucker.
Yeah,
I said, bro,
yeah.
calm down, man. Calm down. And he's still like that to this day.
That's right.
He's still
Now
like
you on
this
the
today.
streets like fuck. I get it. I get why he was mad.
Yeah, yeah.
How? Oh no, go ahead. My
Uh,
fault. I was just gonna say, what's up with the cell phone? I know that.
Yeah,
that is
I was
what
gonna
people
ask about
tend to
tech too.
have the biggest issues with.
Yeah.
The email, cell phone. Some dudes I know the cell phone's in there, so some dudes come out a little more seasoned for it.
Yeah.
But I know that tends to be a big barrier for lifers. Former lifers.
No, I'm pretty tech savvy when it comes
Boy
to
got
it.
two phones. He don't. He
I
got
know
no
in the
issues
Apple
with
Watch
that.
we good, huh? That's-
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, work, man.
There you
You know what
go.
I'm saying? Work.
It's only right, isn't that?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
No, it is, and it's great to where you have somebody that can believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but you believe in yourself, and so what you do, it shines and it shows.
Yeah.
About what you do and stuff like that.
100%. So I mean, before we wrap things up, I want to hear kind of like what you got going now as
Yeah.
far as goals, or what are some things you're working on now.
Right now, for sure, it's crazy. I was just looking at my parole plans a couple days ago to see exactly where I was at, and accomplishing my goals, and I'm right on target.
There you
I'm
go.
right on target with everything. So the next thing I think like for 1 year to 4 years was to get my BA. So that's something I got my A degrees and stuff like that. All that they was able to offer at Ironwood. So now it's my BA in social work.
Nice.
One of my things is to work with the young guys. That's a huge factor for me right there.
And we need it. We really do need
Yeah.
it, man. We work out here with these youngsters every day, and we need it. I prefer to work with lifers just because that's who kind of resonated with me a lot.
Yeah.
But Brian tends to work a lot more with the youngsters, so he has firsthand knowledge. We need it.
Oh, yeah,
We need
most
people
definitely. So-
credible messengers to come give back
Yeah.
and put in the work.
Exactly. That's one of the things. Get on my investment tips and stuff like that. Get that going. Look for some housing. And of course the goal is to own a house. But now I'm thinking about like, damn, like where?
Right. Yo, what's that
Right?
like?
Like where?
You're coming out now, seeing used to the shit you saw like before you got incarcerated. Now you're seeing these houses, and you're thinking, is this even possible? Like, can I even do this?
Of course it's possible. I mean, everybody else doing it. Why I can't do it?
There you go. There
You
you
know what I'm
go.
saying? Of course
There
it's
you go,
possible, right?
100%.
But it's like, what area do you want to live in? You know, is your job close to it? So these are really hard decisions right here, and they real life decisions, man.
Yeah.
Do you mind traveling? Like I was able to, the judge allowed me to go to Florida for my little niece's birthday.
Oh man.
So we went to
that's
Disney.
amazing.
Yeah, we went to Disney World.
How'd you like it?
It was cool, man. It was cool. You know, I like the Magic Mountain rides better though, but
Yeah.
it was out there with the family. It had a great time. Had a great time.
You're happy seeing them happy, type shit.
And I'm happy being around them and being happy. You
There you
know,
go.
yeah, most definitely. Doing that for sure. You know, the youth, man. Like that's my main thing right there is working with the youth that I want to work with. Not only that, but I'm part of a nonprofit, Ali Afterlife Initiative. That my boy KD and his sister Kiera, they're owners of it, right?
Okay.
And
Shout out to them.
yeah,
That's
most
an
definitely.
initiative.
And,
Okay.
and so KD, he's one of the guys that helped me when I was in prison to understand the board process. And so now that he's out here doing his thing, you know, he brought me in things that we already talked about when I was still in there and talking to him. And he was out here. He's already talked about bringing me on board, you know. So he made that happen.
Came to fruition, huh?
No, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Like you understand who your friends are, right? Like we done been through so much stuff, to where we know.
Is he a childhood friend too?
No, I actually just met him at Ironwood.
Okay.
So when I first got to Ironwood, they moved me like maybe a couple cells down from him. I told him what I was here from. He immediately got on me about getting ready for board.
Man, that's lovely.
Getting
You
ready
had
for
somebody
war.
with the sense to teach you that, you know?
Yeah, and he was younger than me too, you know.
Okay.
He's like about 30-something years old. So like he was my mentor, man.
Nice.
You know. Who said old dog can't learn new tricks,
There you go.
you know?
So, I guess what are some final words you wanna? I mean, you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do it. You're gonna get there. You're gonna do your social service. You're gonna get your BA in social services, and I know you're
Yeah.
gonna do it. I think this is a blessing too because the way that your case worked out to be working in social service, you know, it's really hard to do something like that when you have a felony and stuff. But because your stuff kind of cleared out the way it cleared out, you have this opportunity. You have lived experience. You could really make a big difference in the system.
Yeah.
Because now you're given this opportunity that you can get there.
Yeah, and since I've been out, I've been to Calipat prison, right? So I went back in there, talked to some of the fellas. You know, I ran to one of my older homeboys from my neighborhood, you know, and he was just mind blown when he seen me, you know, and helping him get out. He been to the board maybe about like 7 times and still ain't out.
Was he like
7
one of the hood
times.
legends? And
Yeah.
you know, because it's always crazy when you run into him in the pen and you don't even know the whole time you've been out living, they've been in there. That story has.
Yeah,
they
no,
just
he
been,
no,
you know.
and then when he first met me, he's like, "Yeah, man, I still got your newspaper article."
Damn.
You know, so and now he's still in there, so trying to help him with his board process and stuff like that. And so I think next month she going to Avenal and Chino. So I'm giving back, man.
Absolutely.
Like
That's
like I
amazing.
remember when guys came in there and told their stories. Like Caesar and Jamel from ARC, when they came into Ironwood and told their stories, like that really impacted me. You know, it's like, man, he had life just like I did.
That's good.
And he's out,
glad.
he's out
Yeah,
here.
that's fire. You're hearing it from somebody that's out in the street.
Exactly.
You go back and now,
Yeah.
and now, man, crazy, even crazier is you're doing this. You just did it. You did the same
Yeah.
thing. Now
Yeah.
you're that guy telling them, I was just in your shoes 27 years. I just got
Yeah.
out 7 months ago. Like,
Hopefully, there's a Lawrence in
I'm
the
back
crowd.
in here.
Yeah.
Lawrence that will take it in and take it with them. And then
Most
move
definitely. And one of the fellas, when I was talking to him in there, he said, "Damn, man, you seem so uncomfortable talking to me. Like it seemed like you've been in here. Like he didn't know my story yet, you know." So I'm like, yeah, and I gave my story. Like, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. So yeah, it's doing positive things anyway. I can help, man. I'm willing to help.
Hell
You
yeah,
know.
man.
Okay,
We
yeah.
appreciate you for being here, bro, for real, and thank you for reaching out too, and working with our boy Kai to make it happen. I think at the end of the day, this is gonna impact a lot of people, and we're excited to see. No matter how this turns out, I'm sure there's gonna be a Lawrence out there listening to be able to take that in and move forward with their lives and do something better for themselves.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, no, thank
You
you for
know.
stopping by. I always tell everybody it's a new day and age. People like to do their social media. You know, I didn't like to do it. These guys got like just unprivate your shit. Got do the thing. But I'm saying if you want to throw out your thing and gain some followers or whatever, that's kind of that's out there too. Throw it out there. Let the camera get the
Oh
name or
yeah,
whatever it is. I don't know the
Le Cottle,
okay.
LeCottle.
And
Holla
that's
at
Instagram.
yeah, IG, yeah,
Okay.
There you go.
yeah.
We'll put that in the description too if
We'll
anybody
put it
wants
in
to
the
reach out from
description.
there.
People reach out. We get stories like of teachers and stuff like that. I swear they'll be like, "Hey, I showed this to my students."
Yeah.
So this might open up avenues or whatever. So we always like to throw that out there.
Hopefully,
I think
hopefully.
this one's for the camps, bro. I think I can
I
send this
love
one
it.
to Mr.
Yeah.
Dunn, and he'll play it for the guys at Camp Afterball. I think this is a good one. It's a clean one. I appreciate
Man,
that.
I appreciate the space that y'all have, man. Just putting us out there like that, though.
100%.
That means a lot.
Hell yeah.
Likewise,
Definitely.
man.
Most
Thank you, Lawrence,
definitely.
sharing your story. Reentry Network Podcast. We out, baby.
We out.
Let's get it.